Wrap around. Score!
Hello and welcome to this season's final episode of Gulls All Access. I'm your host, Andy Zilch. Today we'll be looking back at the fun we've had on and off the ice. But first, we sit down with Gulls defenseman Trevor Carrick to discuss his unique hockey upbringings with four hockey-crazed brothers and discuss his first full year with the Gulls.
Well, the great thing about Trevor Carrick, I was going to say at the end of the game, if he didn't get a point or not, he better be a star. I thought Trevor Carrick was the leader of the team tonight. When in doubt, shoot it out. That's exactly what he did there. Trevor Carrick gets it done for the Gulls.
We're happy to welcome to the show Gulls defenseman Trevor Carrick. Thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll dip right into your childhood. One of four brothers. I'm sure that it was just chaos growing up, but just give us your perspective of having your three brothers with you and you guys kind of rising up to be where you are right now with Sam and you being a pro hockey player, and I know your two other brothers were hockey players as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good word to describe it, is chaos. Obviously, four brothers in the house. My dad worked full-time, so it was just my mom, and I don't know how she did it, but I think she got us into hockey real early and kind of got us out of the house, and we all kind of fell in love with it. And like you said, we all played hockey, and my oldest brother and my younger both played in the Ontario Hockey League as well, and then they started the maple syrup business, but me and Sam kind of carried on with it and ended up here in Anaheim and San Diego. So it was a hectic childhood, but I wouldn't change it for anything.
Now, if I recall correctly, I spoke to you about this last year when you joined the Gulls. When you would play with your brothers, it would be you and Sam versus the oldest and youngest brother, Jake and Josh, right?
Correct, yeah. Yeah, so me and Sam would team up, and then we'd put the oldest and the youngest, try and even it out as best as possible. But either way, me and the youngest, Josh, we were always in net, and those two would always be playing forward and just ripping pucks and balls at us. So we kind of got the worst of it, but it was fun.
I want to talk more about the family impact on San Diego. Your two brothers are full force with the Carrick syrup business. Yeah. And I know you and Sam have a little bit of a hand in it as well, but how cool is it that not only you and Sam have played for the Gulls, but your brothers are working in the syrup business? That was actually a gift to our fans. I mean, you guys have made a tremendous impact on our fan base.
Yeah, I mean, whatever we can do to give back to the community, it's our pleasure. And I know maple syrup's not big out here, but my brothers support me and Sam, a lot, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
You just said that they support you and Sam, and I know you guys do it in return, obviously with the promotions, but give us a little bit more insight. Like, let's help promote them a little bit more. How did all this start, and how did it come to be to where it is right now?
When we were kids, my grandpa lived on a farm, and just for fun, he would tap maple trees. And when we were kids, he had a big pond out there that he would shovel off for us, where we'd go skating. And so we'd always go up to the farm and go skating, and then we would help him with the maple syrup. It was just kind of a hobby he liked to do. And when my grandpa passed, it was something that we wanted to kind of carry on maybe, and just it was kind of a meaningful thing and something they really liked to do. And they just said, screw it, let's just kind of go for it. And it's like liquid gold, right? So it's good stuff.
Did you always want to be a pro hockey player? Was there ever any different path?
Growing up, it was definitely the dream of mine to, play pro hockey and potentially play in the NHL. And I think for me, playing junior hockey in Mississauga and then getting drafted, I think that's kind of when it hit me but yeah, I think watching Sam and my brothers, Jake, play junior hockey and watching them have success, I think that was something I always wanted to do.
You talk about your draft. Where were you in 2012 when you learned that you were selected by the Hurricanes?
We drove down to Pittsburgh where the draft was being held, and we were there for it. So talking to the agent, he said that there's going to be a good chance of getting drafted anywhere between kind of the 2nd and 5th round, and ended up going in the 4th to Carolina, which was kind of funny because it was one of the teams that I think it was like the only team I didn't really talk to or get interviewed by, so it kind of caught me off guard, but it worked out.
That was nearly 10 years ago. So you sitting in this chair with all that experience, right?
Yeah.
What would you go back and tell Trevor 10 years ago as advice?
I think just, it like you said, 10 years ago, it flies by, and when you say 10 years ago, it doesn't feel like it, but just enjoy it and have fun with it, because it goes by really quick, and you can only play the game for so long. So just try and make as many friendships and try to enjoy it as much as you can, because it can go by quick, and when it's done, it's going to be the best times of your life. So I just think just enjoy it, take it day by day, and just go to the rink with a positive attitude and just cherish those friendships.
I'm sure a moment that went by quick was March 15th, 2016, your very first NHL game. You were on the road. What do you remember about that day?
I was in Charlotte. We were on the road actually in Cleveland, and I got a phone call that morning saying that Carolina called me up and I'd be flying that day to Washington. So I headed right to the airport, and I remember our flight got delayed, and we were sitting on the tarmac for I think almost an hour and a half, and I was texting their PR guy saying our flight's delayed, like I don't think I'm going to make it there on time. And then we eventually took off, and I got there just in time, grabbed my bag, went straight to the rink, and I remember walking into the rink with my bag on my shoulders, and all the players were going on the ice for warm-up. And so I missed warm-up as I was getting dressed, and kind of just hopped right into the game, and I think we ended up losing 3-2 to Washington, and I think Ovechkin scored in overtime, but my parents ended up making it to the game before I did, so they were able to see it, which was nice, but it was a good experience.
Coming up, we highlight some of the breakout players from this season and look ahead to the Calder Cup playoffs. Right here on Gulls All Access, presented by California Coast Credit Union. Gulls Elite membership deposits are now being accepted for the 2022-23 season. Join Gulls Elite and choose between different fan experiences and enjoy being rewarded for your loyalty year after year with increased benefits. Learn more by visiting SanDiegoGulls.com/Gulls Elite. And now we look back at some of the notable achievements and personal accolades from the players this past season. We'll start with Gulls forward Alex Lamoge, who is still playing in his rookie season. After skating in 23 games last season, Lamoge has compiled a full year, scoring over 20 goals and nearing 40 points. Lamoge also was named the AHL Player of the Week for the period ending on March 27th, 2022. Included in that Player of the Week performance was Alex Lamoge's first ever career hat trick, scored against the Tucson Roadrunners.
Alex Lamoge deflected in front. Throw the hats.
And now to the Gulls' second-year player, Nicholas Bruijard, who has been what the coaching staff classifies as a Swiss Army knife, playing between defense and forward. After skating in only 29 games last season, Bruijard has put together a full season and has boasted strong offensive numbers, nearing 15 goals and 40 points.
Nicholas Bruijard's point streak moves to 4 games, and he loves playing the San Jose Barracuda.
Gulls netminder Luke Ashtostahl achieved the first ever goalie goal in team history against the Colorado Eagles in early March. In his second professional season, the 21-year-old has played over 2,000 minutes and has neared 20 wins in net. His save percentage has hovered around 91.5%, which is amongst the top 10 out of AHL goaltenders.
Then gets blocked, another chance for Miller, save made by Dostal. But Dostal comes across that crease like no other.
Last season, Hunter Drew was relied upon as a defenseman primarily, but on a secondary nature as a forward. During the offseason, Drew made the switch to forward, and it has paid dividends as he's reached career highs in goals, assists, and points, reaching nearly 20 goals and 40 points this season.
And a chance for Hunter Drew, he scores! 6-1.
More achievements to talk about, and this time on the blue line, as Gulls defenseman Trevor Carrick reached 10-plus goals in one season for the third time in his career. He also has reached over 20 assists for a total of 30-plus points for the fifth time in his career.
Go back to Carrick, scores! Trevor Carrick's 10th of the year.
Brent Gates is donning the San Diego jersey for the fourth consecutive year, which has been his most productive. Gates burst onto the scene with the Gulls offensively, and it's his first ever season skating in more than 20 AHL games in 1 year. Gates has produced career-high numbers with over 10 goals, 10 assists, and over 20 points.
Gates again through traffic.
The last player to speak about is Gulls forward Lucas Alvinis, who was claimed by the Anaheim Ducks on unconditional waivers from the Vegas Golden Knights. Alvinis has scored nearly 10 goals with the Gulls and 40-plus games played, and registered a collection of 32-plus points.
Now to Alvinis, he'll shoot, scores!
Those are the notable achievements from the players this past season, but we have picked up 3 new collegiate players that you might have seen play at the Pechanga Arena recently. We'll start with forward Josh Lopina, who wears number 6 for the Gulls and is a centerman. He comes from the University of Massachusetts Amherst, where he skated the past 2 seasons and makes the jump to the professional level. Lopina was a 4th-round selection by the Anaheim Ducks in the most recent draft just a year ago. Next is defenseman Drew Ellison, who wears number 4 for the San Diego Gulls. He was acquired by Anaheim in the deal that sent Josh Manson to the Colorado Avalanche. Ellison was selected by the Avalanche in the 2nd round of the 2019 NHL entry draft. He comes from Boston College and already has won a gold medal with Team USA in the World Junior Championship. Not only has he accomplished that feat, but the 21-year-old skated in the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing. Lastly, we speak about Blake McLaughlin, who is a forward coming from the University of Minnesota and wears number 22 for the San Diego Gulls. He was selected by the Anaheim Ducks in the 3rd round of the 2018 NHL entry draft. He skated in 4 years with the Golden Gophers, and in his most recent season, tallied 13 goals, 20 assists, for a total of 33 points in 39 games played. The 2022 Calder Cup playoffs begin next week, and the Gulls have secured the 7th seed out of the Pacific Division and will face off against the number 2 seeded team. All 3 games will be played on the road in a best-of-3 series. Coming up, we'll have part 2 of our sit-down interview with Trevor Carrick, right here on Gulls All Access, presented by California Coast Credit Union. The Gulls are making their flight to the Cup as they chase their first Calder Cup championship. Stay informed with all playoff news, including broadcast information, playoff game tickets, watch parties, and other playoff events by visiting our Playoff Central webpage at sandiegogulls.com/flight to the cup.
Let's go. Come on. Come on, fellas.
Watch that.
Yeah. Surprised you didn't call that. Hey! You okay, big boy? Yeah. Sorry. Horrible shot. I can't toe drag at the blue line, but would have been sick. Whoa! Hey, I need steel, Joey. Oh, nice flat stick. Go. I got him. Oh my God. Kidding me? Good? Yeah, oh yeah. That just kind of blew up, eh? Nice stick handling.
And now, part 2 of our interview with Gulls defenseman Trevor Carrick.
Carrick steals it. He'll hold. Hura calling for it. He finds his brother and scores! Sam to Trevor, and it's 3-2 San Diego.
We'll move ahead to the 2018-19 season. That was your best statistical year offensively. We'll talk about you first, and then we'll talk about the team. What worked so well for you during the course of that season?
I think it started with the coach, Mike Vellucci. He joined us, and we had a really good relationship right off the bat, and he played me in, all situations, power play and stuff, and we had a really good team as well. I think that was the year that we won the Calder Cup, and we had some really young, talented guys, so it felt like every time I gave somebody the puck, they were scoring, or I was getting like a second assist somehow, just getting the puck out of the zone, but playing all situations, and the team was just clicking.
From a team standpoint, what made you guys such a force? I remember watching the standings, and it was always Charlotte at the top, and you guys carried that all the way through the postseason.
The team was just so close, I think, just right off the start. We had a younger group, which was, when you have a younger group, normally when you go through adversity, guys are kind of trying to feel out the season, their first year. They don't really know what to expect, but it felt like everybody just kind of got it right away, and everybody just bought in, and we had a good older group too to kind of lead the way as well, but I think just everybody bought in right away, and we just had some super crazy talent, which always helps as well, and everything just kind of just worked out, and it was one of the most fun years I've ever played.
How much scoreboard watching were you doing on the Western Conference Finals with the Gulls?
A lot. I tuned into all those games against the Chicago Wolves, I think, and secretly cheering for Chicago just because, Sam was on that team. But I know my parents were obviously cheering, and my brothers were cheering for the Gulls to see me versus Sam in the finals, which would have been cool to look back on, but it would have sucked for whoever lost that one. You wouldn't hear the end of that.
When you look back at hoisting the Calder Cup, how did that feel, being the champion of the American Hockey League?
Just surreal. Like, going into that year, you don't know what to expect with that group of guys, and it's pretty special. And finally, it's a long year. That in the AHL, it's the travel and stuff. It gets to you. So finally, just playing that last game and just knowing you came out on top, and all the adversity that we had to face that year, it just felt so good, and the party was even better.
Yeah, you played a handful of games against your brother on the East Coast. You do it over here on the West Coast. I'm sure that was pretty special for you. And then last year you joined and you play with Sam. So overall, just what was that like, playing a professional year on the same team with your brother?
Yeah, it was cool. And even before pro hockey, when I played in Mississauga, he was in Brampton, and we played each other, I think, 8 times a year too. We had some rivalries there, and it felt like I could never get away from him wherever I would go, so he'd always be playing. But it was cool for our parents to watch those games, and then finally get traded here and to play with him. It was kind of like is this really happening? Like, I would never expect that, and I think he was feeling the same way. But it was kind of weird at the start. Just we were living together and going to the rink together and stuff, but it was fun. It was nice for a family to come out and join us and watch those games too. And I think it's something, as I get older and look back on, it'll be something that I cherish. And it was a really fun year. So
you've played with Sam, you've played against Sam. Which do you prefer?
I think it got to a point after playing him so many times, and for whatever reason, he'd always have a lot of success against me, and I think it was finally time that we would play together, and I think I enjoyed playing with him a lot more than against him, because I was eating a lot of minuses playing against him.
I remember actually when you got acquired, the first thing I Googled was Trevor Carrick v. Sam Carrick, and the only highlight I could find, I think he was playing for Toronto. He picked your pocket and then scored.
Yeah, that was in Toronto. I remember that like it was yesterday. We had probably 50 people there, and I was carrying the puck up, and he came right in behind me, lifted my stick, went down and scored. And there's actually a great picture where he's like selling with his buddies, and then it's just me like this in the corner, so embarrassed. But yeah, there's a few of those that happened, so that was just one of them.
That'll wrap up this show, and we want to thank you for watching Gulls All Access. We'll leave you with some of the best moments from the 21-22 season. Until next year, go Gulls. A season opener 2 years in the making. Time to welcome fans back into the arena.
We have been waiting for over 600 days for hockey to return back to San Diego.
Just to be back here at the arena, it's long overdue. It's been a long time coming. It's just great to be back.
And everybody here is ready for this puck drop and cannot wait.
Pro, cross, Lamoge, shoots, scores! Welcome back to San Diego. America's finest fans, let them know. Hunter Drew into the zone, shoots, scores! Bruijard wins it. He'll play it to Kindup, scores! Bryce Kindup beats Philadelphia Club High.
Welcome to Winter Wonderland Night.
Cross to Letary. Over the line for Drew. He shoots! Scores! Over there! It has been 4 years since we've seen Bears tumble to the ice here at Pechanga Arena, and a fan favorite returns to San Diego.
Tonight, the Gulls host Star Wars Night at the arena.
Good strong defensive move by Phillips. Regained! Drew scores! The Gulls win 4-0 against the Ontario Reign. Break, cuts in, shoots, scores! Listen to America's finest fans.
What a season. We'll see you in the playoffs.